Hey guys, so we have some big energy that we need to talk about this weekend. Things could be kind of volatile, honestly. There are some very high energy levels going on. People might have sort of a short fuse over this next couple of days. And, we're generally going to want to proceed with caution. We're actually beginning a new 2-year cycle this weekend where Mars and the Sun are coming together. Mars cycles take 2 years, as it takes Mars approximately 2 days to move a degree. And that being said, we are also therefore culminating a 2-year Mars cycle that began actually in October of 2021, ending right now in November of 2023. That one was in the sign of Libra. This one is in the sign of Scorpio. So we are dealing with some drastically different vibes. This is going to be a huge shift, okay, in the way that collective energy is focused and sort of what the drives and motivations are over this next couple of years. And I will tell you guys, this is going to be a 2-year period about getting to the root of the problem. We have arrived at the purge. Anything that has been festering under the surface, toxifying the system, corruption, fraud, rotten to the core, we're about to lift up every rock, see underneath there, and do what is necessary to, purge, purify, regenerate, transform, all of these Scorpio themes. We've got some X-ray vision going on over this next couple of years, you guys, and we're shining some light into the darkness for the purpose of healing, regeneration, and evolution. We got a lot of energy to talk about, you guys. Let's get into it. Let's introduce this new Mars-Sun cycle. Look at this energy in some more detail, try to wrap our heads around all the different ways that this could manifest, what it could represent, and perhaps what things might be looking like for us in our experience on the ground this weekend. Welcome back to my channel, you guys. Today is Wednesday, November 15th, 2023. My name is Aubrey. This is your astrological outlook of the day, where we are narrating the shift of the ages. And today we've got a rather important topic of conversation. We are both ending and beginning a new 2-year cycle of energy in relation to the Mars theme. So specifically in regards to our energy and our energy levels, and collectively sort of where the energetic focus is more so being placed and what is driving action on a more collective level over the course of the next 2 years. Now, before we get into the meat of this report, I guess you could say, I kind of want to give a little bit of sideline information. First of all, although we are starting this aspect and this alignment is coming, they are coming together to the exact degree today. This is actually going to be a 3-day exact transit where Mars and the Sun are going to be traveling together at the same degree over the course of the next 3 days. They come together initially today on the 15th at 23 degrees of the sign of Scorpio, and we are building towards the exact Kazemi moment between Mars and the Sun when they come into the exact to the minute alignment. That is going to be happening at exactly on the dot 1 a.m. Eastern time on November 18th, and it's going to be at 25 degrees in 37 minutes. So we're going from 23 degrees to 25 degrees over the course of this next couple of days, and that is the degree range where Mars and the Sun are traveling together exactly. So if you have planets in between 23 degrees and 25 degrees of fixed signs, specifically Taurus and Scorpio, over this next couple days, things might be quite fiery or quite heated or quite lively. We can put it that way in your experience. So maybe something to keep in mind. Also, I wanted to preface the information in this report with the understanding that while we are on the precipice right now of activating and beginning this new 2-year Mars cycle, as I said, this shift in how collective energy is operating and what's motivating it over this next couple years, that also means that we are at the very end. We are ending the last Mars-Sun cycle. And I wanted to talk for a minute about that, where that happened, when that happened, what that was sort of letting us know that the next 2 years between that activation and this one where we are right now might be about. So we're going to talk for a minute about that. And that conjunction happened on actually October 7th, which is kind of a relevant date these days, but October 7th of 2021, we had the Sun and Mars come together, and that happened at 15 degrees of the sign of Libra. So Mars was in the sign of Libra, the Sun was in the sign of Libra. It was October 7th of 2021, and Mars and the Sun came together. This was our last conjunction. Now, Venus rules the sign of Libra, and Venus at that point in time was at 0 degrees of Sagittarius in a conjunction to the South Node, who at that point in time was currently finishing up the transit of the nodes through Gemini and Sagittarius, preparing to enter Taurus and Scorpio for this karmic detox that we've been talking so much about, which is culminating, or was culminated, as of this past new moon that we actually had on the 13th, which was the report directly preceding this one. We got a lot of things sort of coming to a head right now that began a couple of years ago, that began, 2022, 2021, sort of entering their next phase or coming to a point of completion in the energy that is represented actually like this week in this November lunar cycle. Okay, but anyways, let's talk a little bit more about that cycle so we can understand sort of what that was about, where that brought us, where we're at now, and what this new cycle that we are beginning now is likely to be doing in the context of where we've been. All right, so that was a Mars-Sun cycle in the sign of Libra, and we had Venus ruling that conjunction at 0 degrees Sagittarius in a conjunction to the South Node. Now, Venus and Sag, you guys, this is all about like pursuing the heart's true desires. This is about true love in its purest form, okay? And with the South Node there, this would be a release on one hand from like anything that is hindering our ability to like truly pursue our heart's desires or experience something that we perceive as a true form of love, or to just sort of like get what we really want in some type of way. Okay, so this was a 2-year cycle about actively, on one hand, releasing that which maybe we don't truly love or we didn't really value or desire anymore, through what could have been a process of recognizing the repeating patterns that had been playing out in our lives, in our relationships, and in our experiences. 15 degrees of Libra, where that conjunction was, the Sabian symbol of that degree is circular paths. So this was going to be a 2-year period of time where we're really noticing that we're like going in circles, that we're on a merry-go-round, and a lot of the things that were likely to be happening and transpiring may have been emphasizing that theme somehow. Now, with it being a Mars cycle, Mars-Sun cycle happening in the sign of Libra, this was also going to be an energy in a 2-year period of time where there really may have been a lot of upsets in just the general flow of things, in the general balance of things, peace, harmony, especially in relationship dynamics, as people were more geared towards releasing themselves from things or trying to get away from things that felt like no longer were a reflection of what we truly value, what we truly desire, what we truly loved, or a desired outcome maybe that we've been trying to achieve over a certain period of time, or a desired image maybe that we wanted to present. This could have been was most likely a very conflict-oriented time in relationships, in partnerships, in like financial and legal situations as well. And people also may have been acting very uncharacteristically out of their ego, okay, especially in relation to others, with a willingness to sort of achieve their desires or achieve their means or achieve a desired outcome essentially at any cost or by any means necessary. This period may have, as I said, and as a result of the planet, the war planet, the Lord of War, right, in the sign of the feminine, in the sign of other people and groups and associations, in the sign of peace and balance and justice and harmony, this was likely to be a 2-year period of time that upset the general order of things, or like the balance of peace and justice and reciprocity. There could have been a lot of unfairness or things that we perceived as being unfair that played out over this period of time, and also a lot of conflict and like fights and stuff originating over things that we think are like unfair or uneven or unbalanced, which I actually do think is going to be to a pretty significant extent perhaps corrected as we move through this next 2-year cycle that's in the sign of Scorpio. Okay, that was a 2-year cycle of Mars Libra energy. Now Mars in the sign of Libra generally, unless Venus is simultaneously in either Mars or Scorpio and we have a mutual reception going on between Venus and Mars where there's this like balanced flow of energy, Mars does not typically function at a super high capacity in the sign of Libra. Now, of course, there are exceptions to this. Like I said, a lot of times when we get a Venus either in a positive aspect with Mars while Mars is in Libra, or a mutual reception with Mars while Mars is in one of Venus's signs, like this is very supportive for, creation, art, music, also just a more refined touched thing or things, or a more refined eye and refined vision when it comes to being able to do our work or put action into things. There's positive ways that Mars and Libra energy functions as well. However, for the most part, this is not where Mars expresses in the most pure, like refined way, right? It can be, this is the sign of the feminine. This is the sign of other people. Therefore, it can be very conflict oriented in the way that energy is expressed, especially in the context of other people. Like Mars in Libra, especially when it's like not well placed, gives to me like mean girl vibes. You know what I mean? Like very competitive, very jealous, just kind of like mean natured, like this like slander and gossip and rumors and like manipulation, very petty expression of energy. And it's also Mars expressing in an air sign, so this is going to be some aggressive language, right? And like I said, like gossip or rumors or propaganda, like taking our aggression out in more passive ways. This is a more passive aggressive energy also, and not just like an overtly assertive energy like we get when we have Mars in a more masculine sign, or just in a way that his energy is able to express in a more like natural Martian way. Okay, so we're talking about a 2-year cycle that we are coming out of right now, where there was most likely a greater level of emphasis and energy and focus placed on the group, placed on other people, placed on, specifically air signs, what other people think, also perhaps maintaining images or maintaining facades. But also remember, Venus was in a conjunction to the South Node for the activation of this energy. This was also going to be like making it very clear what we can no longer maintain, what image we no longer wish to portray ourselves as, or what relationships we don't want to continue putting energy into because they're no longer in alignment with like that true love energy that was refining itself more so in our experience at that point in time. But we're talking about, more conflict oriented nature, most likely played out in the context of connections, other people, alliances, partnerships, relationships, like business deals, agreements, negotiations, legal situations and stuff like that. And also we're talking about the sign of Libra, right? This is the scales. This is two sides of things. This could be some intense, very polarizing atmospheres or environments that were like a mechanism of the conflict that was arising as well. Polarized viewpoints or polarized thoughts and opinions about stuff, or polarized communities also, or social groups, social causes at odds with one another in a very aggressive way. And of course, we have seen a lot of that on a collective level, at least over this past couple of years. Two sides fighting, okay? The scales uneven, power and control dynamics kind of disheveled and out of proper alignment as well in terms of the balance of things. And at that point in time, when we had that new Sun Mars cycle beginning in Libra, Pluto had just stationed direct in the sky as well in the later degrees of the sign of Capricorn, also representing some type of like powerful legacy or power structure on kind of like its last legs, but still very like active, an active 2 years of that dimension of things kind of pulling the puppet strings behind the scenes, okay, upsetting the balance, which is, I think, the way that things are coming together and presenting, at least in my perception, the macrocosm or a macrocosm issue that we are about to get to the bottom of, about to get to the core of over this next 2 years, now that we have Mars and the Sun coming together in the sign of Scorpio, which is a much more intense, I would say, but like less conflict oriented for the purpose of conflict. Like Mars in Libra is gonna be an energy that like likes to fight, likes to bicker, like likes to be really petty about stuff. And it's just like these shallow, more superficial like arguments and contests and competitions and, you know, fragile, frail egos and stuff that we're dealing with. When we have Mars in the sign of Scorpio, it is not that vibe at all. This is not anything shallow. This is not anything fickle. This is not anything petty. This is like the real deal, and this is like the finisher, okay? Mars in the sign of Scorpio, I always say when I'm talking about Mars energy and the Mars archetypes, like Mars in the sign of Aries starts the fight. Mars in the sign of Scorpio finishes the fight, okay? Like, you don't want to F around and find out when we're talking about Mars in the sign of Scorpio energy, because this is a ruthlessly determined, willful, and stubborn energy that is gonna take it all the way, okay? So this is a very, very, very different vibe and different driving force, okay, going forward over this next 2 years than we have had over this past 2 years. And this next 2 years is gonna take all of the things that were not fair or that were unbalanced or that were, you know, out of any type of like reciprocity, okay? Perhaps as a result of conflicts that came up in this past couple of years, like we're drilling down into it, we're getting to the root of the problem, we're getting rid of whatever is causing the problem, we're solving the problem once and for all, and like we're moving on to something else that's important that needs to be handled this period of time. Like we are handling business over this next couple years, and honestly, you guys, like it could get ugly. Like things could get a little bit ugly, but we can't solve the problems. We can't like clear things out and clean things up if we're not willing to look at what is going on under the surface. So that's where we've been. Okay, you guys, we've been in this more competitive, conflict oriented, like insecure masculine energy. Okay. We're going from like the immature, more insecure expression of a masculine energy, and we're stepping into like full-throated masculine dominance and like self-empowerment. And I'll tell you guys, the result of whatever plays out over this next couple of years is going to have all of us in this transit feeling significantly more self-empowered, self-reliant, like we can trust and depend on ourselves like way, 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 way more than perhaps we have ever felt in our lifetime. This is going to function as a return of self-empowerment to the collective in some type of significant way as a result of what we find that we are capable of once we know the truth about things. That is pending revelation right now, okay? So this is an entirely different vibe that we are moving into. Mars will be in his own sign of rulership, Scorpio, with the sun, right? Shining the full light into the shadows, into the darkness, into the core, into the root of things. And as I said, like, Mars and Scorpio is the finisher. Mars and Scorpio gets the job done. This is the detective, and this is this insane, ruthless determination, okay, to do what needs to be done, all right? So let's talk about some more of the qualities and characteristics of the Mars and Scorpio energy, and what it's likely to provoke within us and also within like what's playing out in the world, okay? Mars in Scorpio is a very strategic and instinctual energy. It's very tapped into and motivated by sort of like this primal force or primal drive that comes from within. It behooves all of us over this period of time to try to garner like a better relationship to our own internal compass, to pay attention to like our gut instinct about things, and to not be afraid to act on some type of, internal knowing or just like intuitive hunch that comes to us. There will be some very powerful guidance available to us as we move through the next 2 years if we learn to tune into and to follow our own internal compass about stuff, okay? And with Uranus also in the opposition to Mars in the Sun as they come into their conjunction, we are going to become sort of like more sensitive antennas, okay, to the energy fields around us, to like our own intuition from within us. Humanity will become more psychic and more consciously aware of that psychicness, okay, over this next couple of years as well. So working on that, actively engaging that aspect of our experience, beneficial, supportive in whatever processes that we have playing out moving forward also, okay? Mars in Scorpio works in silence, works in darkness, works behind the scenes, in the background, when no one is paying attention, and then suddenly appears out of nowhere, wholly prepared and ready to act. Don't tell people about your plans over this next couple of years. Keep things, quite close to your chest. Don't be flamboyant about stuff. Like, we really do sort of want to move in silence over this next couple of years. And only when you feel fully prepared or fully ready, sort of step out of the shadows and with whatever it is that you've been working on, okay? But we don't want to act prematurely in this energy. And this is also supported by the presence of Uranus in the opposition to Mars and the Sun, again talking about shocking people, okay? People are going to be shocking people over this next couple of years with their personal transformations and with the way that they are just like stepping out of the shadows with like this whole new situation going on that nobody knew about, you know what I mean? So that is also something that is probably going to be more of a common occurrence over this next couple of years. Also, Mars in Scorpio, you guys, leaves no stone unturned when it comes to the pursuit of some type of discovery. It is stubborn, it is willful, it is relentless about stuff. And so, when you put it all together, again, this is a 2-year cycle about actively this Mars energy getting to the bottom of things, purging things out, clearing them out, cleaning them out, transforming them, metamorphosis, regeneration, rebirth as well. We've got to remove universe through the next couple of years is going to be removing blockages to true and authentic growth and potential in alignment with our current transition into the age of Aquarius. Anything that is still distorting power or inverting potential, okay, or just like blocking authentic growth in any type of a way, these are the roots that are we're gonna be getting to the bottom to, and that are gonna get pulled out and transformed or whatever as we go through this period of time, okay? And through this process, as I said, the outcome will ultimately be this significant increase in our own sense of personal power based on our like internalized knowing that we can trust ourselves and that we can depend on ourselves, and that we will also that we can also follow through on things, because this energy will also show us once we set our mind to something that we can get it done, that we can follow through, and we're going to be surprising ourselves, okay? Yes, other people are going to be shocking us with their transformations and maybe like who they've always been that we didn't see before, or who they've suddenly become and changed into in this energy now, but we're also going to be shocking and surprising ourselves with what we had inside of us and who we really were that we didn't even realize, we were holding within, or we could possibly be, because of, what the scenarios and the situations that we're put in are going to invoke within us or cause us to step into. as we move through this time as well, okay? The Mars and the Sun is going to light up the underworld and expose what's been going on behind the scenes of things. Specifically, also, this is going to have a lot to do, you guys, with power structures and financial dynamics. We're talking about Scorpio Taurus polarity. There is a huge financial component whenever we're talking about the energies of Taurus and Scorpio. And it's going to shock people to their core, with Uranus in an opposition to Mars coming into the conjunction with the Sun, starting a new year cycle. This entire 2 years is going to be shocking revelations, and it could very much be along the financial, economic end of things, partnership type of end of things as well. Okay, 2 years of seeing the ugly truth about things. However, we are going to be creating remedies and solutions in ways that we never could have imagined that restore order, harmony, justice, and balance, and remove the inversion from anything, like I said, that has been blocking true growth and authentic development in alignment with the divine plan, divine cosmic blueprint unfolding right now, authentic potential. So this is going to be a powerful, very, very, very powerful, transformative, and revealing period of time we got coming up here. Long held secrets are going to be exposed in a way that changes everything. This is paradigm changing stuff. And don't forget, you guys, we're going to be having a Uranus-Jupiter conjunction that's going to be happening next April as well, in correspondence with our next eclipse season. Like, this whole period of time is likely to be very, very memorable in the history books, okay? And it is all about exposing the underbelly of things, restoring proper flows of power, self-empowerment. And again, like, I feel like a lot of the, like, justice or balance or fairness that was upset over the course of this past couple of years when we had Mars, Sun in their Libra cycle together, that's going to be sorted out, I think, by the time that we get to the end of this Scorpio cycle. It's gonna wake us up on some level as well. With Uranus there is a electrified component of things that is shaking us out of any slumber that we've been in. This is going to be like a huge wake-up call as well, seeing what's been going on in the darkness while we've been asleep, perhaps. And this, as I mentioned, is no longer like a passive-aggressive energy. We're not hiding from what our intentions are when we want to make something happen or get something done with Mars and Scorpio. Now, we might not be super out in the open about it, but we're certainly not hiding from a fight, okay? And this is an overtly aggressive energy. This is a fight to the death energy. We will see violence. We will see destruction for sure over this next couple of years. This is fall of Rome type of stuff that we got going on. Just the way it is, no sugarcoating. Like, that is how these vibes are coming through. Burning it all down if it's gone too far, or like surgically, meticulously removing some problem that is interfering with the ability for something to function properly. But either way, the outcome of this, you guys, is going to be regeneration. It's going to be rebirth, and it's going to be in a purified, healed, and evolved way that is setting us up for some type of expansion and growth that will actually function to really like set us free on some type of level as we move into the next Mars Sun cycle after this 2-year cycle is complete. So we've got 2 years of fixing root issues going on, you guys. We are no longer on the circular path where the last conjunction happened at 15 degrees of the sign of Libra. Let's talk about some Sabian symbols now, the symbolism associated with this particular Mars-Sun conjunction, at least to get us started on the 15th. The Sabian symbol, where the conjunction starts, is 24 degrees of the sign of Scorpio. That Sabian symbol, you guys, as opposed to circular paths, is crowds coming down the mountain to listen to one inspired man. I do think that this imagery, in the context of this energy, is likely to be kind of like a significant archetypal theme that is playing out over this period of time. And like legitimately that, like crowds coming down the mountain to listen to one inspired man, there could be one inspired man that is playing a very, very significant role in the collective energy, especially in the context of getting to the roots of these problems and like being the finisher, okay, and sorting things out, shining the light into the darkness, and figuring out like what has been festering, you know, executing the purge, and helping things to be purified, rectified, right, with Uranus there as well. And remember, Uranus is the great rectifier. Uranus is the galactic fixer. With Uranus in basically exact opposition to this energy playing out over this next 2 years, universe is putting things back together in a way such that this cosmic blueprint can unfold according to the higher plan. This is functioning as some type of like divine realignment that's going on right now. Like it's evening out the playing field somehow, and it's restoring a proper power balance and dynamic. It's restoring truth. It's restoring true value to things, and ultimately removing blockages to true and authentic growth that would prevent, you know, humanity from evolving in such a way to become like a reflection of these new Aquarian frequencies and energies coming in right now as we are transitioning ages into the age of Aquarius. And part of the way that that transition happens is through humanity becoming vessels for this new energy coming in. Anything that is existing as like a holdover from the previous matrix and paradigms of power and control that would seek to suffocate or to prevent that evolutionary force from coming in and taking root, okay, that is what is, you know, on the way out. And there may be, you know, one inspired man or several inspired men, or, you know, just people embodying this masculine energy that are doing some big things to benefit the collective generally over this period of time. Now, you know, that being said as well, this is a very rebellion oriented period of time, a very revolutionary period of time. These general themes probably in the air, and people are going to be inspired by both the deeper and the higher purpose that is like churning from, you know, both within and that we are seeing from a higher perspective above as well. The position of the Earth, the point directly oppositional to where this Sun-Mars conjunction is going on, what's happening on the ground, you know, what's the general state of things throughout this next couple years. Like I said, you guys, this is a ruthless energy, Mars and Scorpio, and with the Sun there. Ultimately, we are healing things, right? Ultimately, we are putting things right. But the position of the Earth, 24 degrees of Taurus, that Sabian symbol is an Indian warrior riding fiercely, human scalps hanging from his belt. So ruthless determination, vengeance, revenge and vengeance. This is also a very scorpionic type of theme. The finisher, you guys, not standing for it anymore. The breaking point, okay, that was also represented by this past new moon that we had with Mars and Uranus in an opposition. And I'm telling you, you guys, people are done being taken advantage of. This next 2 years is going to be putting an end to a lot of that. All right, people are coming to their end of their rope, and people are about to start taking things into their own hands if they feel like it can't be handled any other way, okay? Tomorrow, and here's some more information. Tomorrow, you know how I said Mars and the Sun are going to travel together. Tomorrow, they're both changing degrees. Mars and the Sun will be discharging 25 degrees of the sign of Scorpio in the energy for tomorrow. We currently have Neptune just retrograded back to 25 degrees of Pisces. That means in the energy of tomorrow, you guys, on Thursday, the 16th, Mars and the Sun in their conjunction are going to be forming an exact trine to Neptune in the sign of Pisces. Neptune rules Pisces. Mars rules Scorpio. This is a super, 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 super powerful water sign trine that we have going on, you guys. But what is even more significant to me is the symbolism associated with this particular placement, and the fact that Neptune rules illusions and rules the dreams and rules deception and manipulation and narratives and projections and propaganda and false beliefs, especially when Neptune is traveling retrograde, okay? Or when Neptune is traveling retrograde, it helps to remove a layer of illusion so that we can see things more clearly. But with the trine to Mars and the Sun in Scorpio in this alignment, in the sign that gives penetrating insight, listen to the freaking symbolism that's associated. Thursday might be a really significant day, you guys. The position of Neptune, 25 degrees of Pisces in the trine, that Sabian symbol is the purging of the priesthood. The position of Mars, 25 degrees of the sign of Scorpio in that exact trine. The Sabian symbol is an X-ray photograph helps with the diagnosis. This is extremely transparent, okay, in terms of how this energy is functioning. There is likely to be, as I said, you know, awakening from a slumber, a layer of illusion or fog, something being removed, clarity suddenly arriving on our doorstep, being able to see the deeper truth about something, being able to see where we had been fooled or where we had been deceived or where we had been led astray, where we had been brainwashed or where we had been believing that something we thought was true, come to find out it was never true in the first place. Like, all this type of stuff could really be happening, and it could be making people mad, and it could be making people want to, like, on one hand get revenge, or on another hand, like, take back power, okay, in some type of way. So I find that to be very significant. The purging of the priesthood, the position of Neptune retrograde right now, you guys, that could be like the title of this whole energy. I feel like that symbolism, that imagery really encapsulates a lot of what this next 2 years is going to be about. And honestly, like, if we use the priesthood as a metaphor for just like the power structures, okay, the controlling bodies and the belief systems that come down from those hierarchical orders of, you know, power and control that have been maintaining for very long periods of time, this is the purge, you guys. Like, that is what this energy is representing, okay? So the researcher, the detective, the reaper, the surgeon, the healer, life is a chess game over this next couple of years, you guys. The purge is active. Plan your moves accordingly. Strategy, foresight, following gut instincts. This is going to pay off, okay? We want to say less and observe more over this next couple of years. We want to be very discerning, and we want to keep our plans to ourselves for best results. We only want to come forward. We only want to act. We only want to put ourselves out there when we feel that we have fully prepared and we are trusting ourselves and our process. Now, we also have a Sagittarius moon going on and Mercury in Sagittarius for this Scorpio alignment that we have. Sun, Mars playing out today. So even on an emotional level, you guys, although we're like really peering into the depths of things on like a conscious, active level, even on an unconscious, emotional level right now, we are seeking a higher understanding. We are seeking a higher truth. We are looking to gain some wisdom so that we can sort of put all the pieces together. Moon in Sagittarius, in alignment with this energy coming together. I do really, really like a Sag moon because it is giving us this emotional drive as well to see the bigger picture. And it's like we're unearthing all of the pieces and then we're putting them together, and we can see it top down and we can see it bottom up. So we really are just getting this holistic overall immersion in whatever it is that universe needs us to come to understand or to be a part of right now. Lastly, huge financial element to all of this, like I said, but I feel like I didn't drill down Scorpio terminology enough into it. Financial systems, economies, deals, partnerships, value, resources, alliances, assets, sales, inheritance, land, food production, also things to do with like the Scorpio energy, oil, wealth, precious metals, medicines, poisons, like treasures and gemstones, things coming from deep within the earth or deep underwater. We could see attacks, we could see destruction, we could see disturbances or disclosures, conflicts, secrets revealed, or just an increased level of energy and focus along these lines. Okay, also there could be some very powerful like water, fire, or electrical storms that are of significance or of like historical note perhaps that play out over this period of time. Things to do with the oceans, things to do with deep water and ice. And when I was writing my notes earlier, as I was saying that, Antarctica popped into my head as well. So there could be some type of relevance in terms of Antarctica coming a more significant theme, or things about Antarctica and like secrets associated with Antarctica be gaining more of a like collective mental focus over this period of time. And also, you guys, with all this Scorpio energy, look for more conspiracy theories to become conspiracy facts as they are proven true, or at least a lot closer to the truth than we had ever, you know, collectively imagined when we moved through this energy. So that's what I have to say, you guys. It's a lot, and luckily, you know, we've got a couple days that we're going to be talking about this. My weekend video is going to be primarily focused around these same themes as well, expanding upon them even more, talking about the progression of energy between now and the 18th when we have the exact Kazemi, and we're also going to look at that degree as well and talk more about the exact chart for the exact to the minute alignment and, you know, what that is also indicating for us. We're going to get more information as we move through the weekend and analyze this energy at an even deeper level, because now that we have Mars and Sun starting a new cycle in Scorpio, that is what we are doing. We are going to be analyzing everything at the deepest possible level. So this is where we're at, you guys. That's where we've been. That's where we're going next, and that's what I'm gonna say for today. I'm not gonna do the tarot for today just because this is a lot of information and I just honestly can't sit still for a whole lot longer. You guys, when I sit here and do these videos, this is the longest that I will sit still for the entire day. So I've got to kind of keep it moving along. I got a lot of air energy. It's hard for me to stay stationary for too long, but let's get a synchronicity card, you guys. Let's ask for one additional piece of guidance or advice for God, Spirit, Universe that we can apply to the next 2 years, or, you know, at least as we move through the rest of this month with the Mars Sun dominant focus. We've got 2 cards coming over. We've got forgive and you will be guided. And I'm glad that this came up because forgiveness also is going to be a very big lesson, I feel like, that we're going to learn over this period of time when we have a lot of this stuff come up. I think that by the end of it, as part of our self-empowerment process that we go through over this period of time as well, we're going to learn to let a lot of things go, because we will realize that, you know, holding on to them and maybe the revenge that we seek as this transit starts, we will come to find actually is not truly in our best interest. And I think that we're going to wise up maybe along those lines and learn to practice forgiveness from like a more deep and sincere level moving through this period of time as well. Anyways, it says forgive. Be not afraid of the pestilence that walketh in darkness. You guys, Psalms 91. Wow. You are in the dark when you indulge in depression, feeling sorry for yourself, anger, or ill will. When you condemn yourself or others, these are pestilences of the darkness. That shadow side energy, that Scorpio energy, that underworld energy. Anger towards others reflects your emotionally charged state. You violate the law of harmony and it will bring you trouble. Forgive yourself and others and hail God in your midst to heal your anger. Pray, thank you, God, for removing my anger. That's so crazy because we've been talking about the deeply regenerative and healing energy associated with the Mars and Scorpio transit. And, you know, this being the finisher, and also, you know, following this karmic detox process, this nodal transit of Taurus Scorpio that we are actually out of now, but perhaps that we are in the process of healing from, you know, some of the stuff that went on over that period of time. Forgiveness. This card is so, I feel like, very, very valuable information to keep in mind while we do go through this energy. And then we have, you will be guided. Sent his angel to show the things which must shortly be done. Revelation 22:6. Shortly you will be shown the direction you should take. The way will open up for you to move forward. Seize the opportunity that comes to you. Know you are being divinely guided. Listen to the voice within for guidance. That's another thing I was saying, you guys. Our inner compass, you know, our intuition, tuning into and following the guidance that we are receiving, kind of like in and of ourselves, or, you know, from our relationship to a higher power. And this is exactly what this card is saying as well, you guys. So this is a time where we need to trust our gut, okay? You will be guided. Listen to the voice within, and we need to learn to cultivate and practice active forgiveness. That is also really going to benefit us as we move through this time as well. That's what I have to say today, you guys. I hope you liked it. I hope there was something beneficial or entertaining or something in there for you. If you guys did like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel, you guys. Share it with your friends if you think they would be into this type of astrology content as well. Leave me comments, you guys. So grateful for your presence here. Thank you so much for your feedback. I really do value, you know, when you guys let me know what's going on with you out there, and if you're having experiences that line up with what I'm talking about in these videos, definitely let me know in my comment section below, because, you know, like I said, very valuable to me to know how this is playing out, how this energy is playing out there in the world. Also, if you want to know what's on this whiteboard, I have a Facebook group that I post those in that is linked in my description box below. And come back with me on Friday, you guys. I will have a video out for this weekend where, like I said, we will be expanding upon this Mars-Sun conjunction. We have the exact Kanzimi. We'll be talking about the exact to the minute chart for this new Mars Sun cycle that we've got going on, and a whole lot more. So I will be here to talk about it, you guys. You should be here too. You don't want to miss it. And I will see you next time. Have a beautiful day. And until next time, bye guys.